Today's topic is: what's the most blatant way you've been hit on in public? A girl shouted from her car window that she wanted to sit on my face. It was a neighborhood street during the day and there were kids around. We've been married for 20 years. Kidding about the last part, never saw her again. At the bar with my friends. A rather inebriated lady appeared from nowhere to wrap herself around my arm and loudly whisper, "Wanna carry me home in these?" It was like a flirty jump scare. I was at a happy hour and standing at the bar to get another drink. There was music playing and this short girl just squeezed in between me and the bar and just pushed her ass against me before leaning back and asking me what I wanted to drink. I'm in a DIY shop looking for a new light for my bedroom. The girl helping me out is smiling and blushing, telling me about what university she's going, what course she's studying, and what kind of music she likes. I'm like, okay, can you find me the light I'm looking for? I'm sure my mum was dying on the inside several times over as she watched all this go right over my head, and it was only on the way home in her car, she says, "You know she was trying to flirt with you." I didn't notice it at all. My girlfriend looked at me and asked if I noticed her flirting with me and I didn't. In my defense, we were at Disney World in Star Wars land, so I was distracted. Ran into some friends in a bar one night, and I was introduced to a guy's cousin and his girlfriend. 20 minutes later the girlfriend stuffs a cocktail napkin into my shirt pocket and whispers, "Go read what it says." I went to the bathroom to take a leak, pulled the napkin out of my pocket and it said, "Take me home and fuck me." Drunk girl saw me walk back from the bathroom at a sports bar, leaned out of her booth, grabbed my arm and said, "I really want you to suck on my tits." I was at a bar waiting in line for a drink. A gay woman came up to me and said verbatim, "I just wanted to say, I'm gay, but if I wasn't, I would jump your bones right now." Then she bought me a drink. Been hit on by gay men before, but not a gay woman. At a Fear Factory gig in London with a female friend. Some random girl was passing through the crowd, she basically pushed herself and her boobs up against me, even though there was plenty of space around me, smiled and kept going. To which my friend burst out laughing saying I was just sexually assaulted. I was at a porn shop with a female friend of mine, she was buying herself some toys, and the woman at the checkout started hitting on me fiercely. I thought that was quite the ballsy move on her part. How the hell could she have known that my friend and I weren't dating? Went to a house party. Walk in the door, 5 seconds in and some chick sitting on a couch with her friends looked at me, pointed, and loudly declared, "I'm f***ing you tonight." She was right. Back in the 80s I was walking down the street by myself and some huge dude came out of nowhere and went on this long monologue about how he trains to be the strongest person and how expensive it is. Then he beat my ass and stole all of my money. I was sitting in a bar. A woman came up to me and put her hands on my chest and said, "Really nice sweater." She planted a big kiss on me. We had a few drinks and we went back to my place. An older gentleman at the bar asked if he could eat my ass. Unprompted. He wasn't quiet about it. He took no for an answer and didn't get pushy or rude. He shrugged and laughed. What a guy. So, I think I'll keep the "gentleman" label there for him. I was probably 24 at the time, used to push carts at a grocery store. One day I was working and was pushing a huge line into the cart garage. This girl, 18 to 21, approached me with her cart and when I turned around, she said, "I know this is random, but my friend thinks you have a really nice app, and was wondering if she could get your number. I politely turned it down and told her I was with someone. A few moments later, she and the friend drove by to leave and the friend yelled out the open window, "You do have a nice app. Have a good day, honey." Was on a cruise with my family. Wife and my teen daughter had gone on the shore excursion. I stayed on board, as did my other teen son who was off playing video games. After I finished my work call I headed to a bar. Sat down at the bar 2 seats away from a pretty attractive woman. She struck up a conversation. After about 15 minutes she said, "I am on this ship celebrating my divorce, you are funny and smart, and I find that attractive. I haven't been with someone in almost 2 years, do you want to come back to my cabin with me?" I showed her my wedding ring, and said, "That is a very tempting offer but I couldn't live with myself." She got up to leave and said something like, "I wish my ex was half the man you are." I was in the passenger seat of my roommate's car when we were driving off campus and 3 girls go by and one yells, "You're hot, let's fuck." And I was like I should get out of the car, but had smoked enough weed to kill an elephant so I had zero confidence. I don't remember all the details, because I'd been drinking. But I do know that she initiated the interaction, because I'm very shy and polite and would never make a pass at a strange woman at a bar. All I remember was her encouraging me to motorboat her chest, which I happily obliged. I then called over to my friends, and yelled, "Hey guys, look what I can do." And then proceeded to motorboat her for the audience. Everyone in the bar cheered. True story. I was at a party once around 10 years ago, house music party. It was around 3 a.m. and one chick comes up to me and goes, "You look really cute with your BF." This BF she was talking about was a mate of mine and I let her know. She then goes, "Ah, good then, lucky me." She kissed me and gave me her number. I wrote her the next day and proceeded to date for around a year. I was at a bar with my friend, and his girlfriend. We were there for a Herbie Hancock tribute band. We wanted to play pool until the show started but every table was full. I noticed one table had a pretty woman playing by herself, so I asked if we could join, and she said yes. Within 10 minutes she looked me in my eyes and said, "I'd fuck you." I don't remember the context, because at the time I was basically first discovering my self-confidence, and hearing a woman say that to me was fucking crazy. I had never even considered that some women might actually be looking at me that way. Blew my fucking mind. There's more to the story for that night, but we ended up dating for 6 years and we have a son we love very much. Had a girl come up to me at my job and grabbed my beard and say she loved it. I was hella awkward and just said thanks and she stood there for what felt like an eternity. I was in the grocery store a few weeks back, looking at a bunch of single-serving frozen meals and a nice-looking middle-aged woman behind me said that she'd be happy to show me how to cook that for dinner. I was impressed with how bold she was. My wife was down the aisle and watched it happen, too. She still calls me slut. Senior year in high school I'd gained a little weight and stopped regularly wearing my class ring. Lost the weight over the summer, then began wearing it again in college. As a drummer I wasn't quite used to wearing it while playing again yet, so I was jamming with a potential new band and my friend was sitting near me enjoying our playing. I handed her my ring to hold on to until we were finished playing. I glanced over during the next song and she'd put it on a chain around her neck. I asked her if that was a hint, and she gave me those eyes and answered, "It could be." I was at work assisting a customer. I stepped away and when I came back, she had the top few buttons of her shirt unbuttoned which previously wasn't, exposing her cleavage and some of her bra. I made a comment like, "Hey, your shirt came unbuttoned," and she buttoned it back up. I stepped away again, and again came back and her shirt was unbuttoned again. She then handed me her phone number with a note that said something like, "If you want to see more, call me." I was out to dinner with Goldberry, and when the lady brought our drinks over, she laid down a napkin with her number on it and said, "You should call me." We had a good laugh about the fact that she was a few millennia too young for me. On a date, we were having dinner in a beautiful restaurant at the marina. They had live music with a singer and a three-piece band. The singer proceeded to sing all of the love songs to me. We were sitting right up front. I pretended it wasn't happening, lol. So awkward. My date was so mad, lol. Standing in line at a coffee shop and the woman behind me says something out loud, to which I reply to. We make chit-chat for a bit, and then she's like, "You know what," and writes down and hands me her number. I'm a guy, so this is obviously going to stick with me for the rest of my life. I was stopping by Walmart after work and getting a dog bone for my aunt's German Shepherd. Walmart was really busy and I was tired and just wanted to be quick. Some random guy comes up to me and says, "That's a big bone, must have a big dog." I just laughed a little and said, "Yeah." He asked for my number despite me having a ring on, and I told him that I'm married. He ignored what I said and asked to see me and to set a date. I repeated that I was married and walked away. I was in the other aisle at this point and he shouts, "Don't have to be such a cunt about it." Like I said, Walmart was busy. Everyone stared. Oh, I've been waiting for this one. When you're a flight attendant for Delta, you have the option of buying and wearing pink uniform pieces for the month of October. For breast cancer awareness. Men go absolutely apeshit for the pink dresses. I don't know what it is about that shade of Pepto that's so universally flattering, but it is. I'd get comments from sweet old men, snaps from the gays, free coffees from the guys at Caribou, and the weirdest shit I've ever heard come out of a man's mouth that I'm standing at the boarding door, and boarding is going as slowly as it usually does on an oversold flight to Key West in the middle of June. The line pauses, and a guy in his 20s, so my age at the time, and I are just chatting. He asks what the pink is for, gesturing at my coworker who was setting up the galley next to me wearing a pink tie, and me in my pink dress. Because of course it was the pink fucking dress. I told him it was for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and he chucked and said, "Well, if you need an exam, I'm in seat 32B. The captain, who was in the flight deck literally right behind me, heard him, and he never actually made it to seat 32B. Guy came up to me waiting at the bus stop, told me he thought I was attractive. Had some small talk, exchanged Instagram. We exchanged some texts on there, but he really wasn't saying much FOT actual conversation. I lost interest but would respond to be nice, when he suggested we should do something sometime. I told him I really wasn't feeling any vibe, and he decided to respond with, "What, I haven't made your pussy wet yet?" No sir, you haven't. I've never been drier. There was literally not any flirting before that comment. I'd say an older guy striking up a conversation and very directly and plainly complimenting my looks and saying he would consider himself lucky if I were interested in him. Very much leaving it open to me to pick up the hook if I was interested that I wasn't, but I appreciated the way he engaged, leaving the door open without trying to directly invite me inside. No insisting I either come in or close the door. No attempt to guilt or coerce me. Much more enjoyable than trying to navigate saying no to a pushy guy. Made me actually contemplate saying yes for a second. A drunk girl at a bar slammed her phone down, turned to me, and said, "My boyfriend just broke up with a text. What are we going to do about that?" I was just at the right place at the right time. At the bar, I turned away from the bartender after getting my drink and a girl was already there pulling me to dance. It evolved from there. I was putting gas in my car and randomly locked eyes with a guy in his car leaving the gas pump across from where I was parked. He made a U-turn, parked his car and jumped out. He waved and said, "Hi. I'm Matt and you're gorgeous. Can I get your number?" Won a date with my girlfriend at the time, sitting outdoors at an ice cream shop. A group of gay men walking along the sidewalk passed by and one turned back and looked at me, interrupted the conversation and asked if the carpet matches the drapes. He wants to steam me up and down. Was absolutely serious. The date I was with cracked the hell up. I was in total shock and embarrassed. Ended up marrying the girl I was on the date with. I was just at Walmart like last week and some drunkie starts yelling at me while I'm standing in the snack aisle, covered in dirty baggy clothes after coming straight from a barn. He said I was pretty and asked if I had a boyfriend and I was like, "Yeah, sorry." Then he goes, "Don't be sorry, there's plenty of fish in the sea." And goes whistling off. I wish all interactions like this ended so well, lol. I'm a guy so I rarely get hit on. But once I was walking around with my friends. And this girl came up to me. She asked me if I am gay. Like no hellos nothing. "Are you gay?" I'm like no. And she said okay good let me get your number. My coworker that worked in a cube directly across from me was a very attractive recent immigrant from SE Asia. She was kind of hard to read if she liked me or not. I chalked it up to cultural difference, until she literally crawled on the floor under her desk to get a pen she dropped, with no underwear on and her skirt hiked up. I got the whole show that no one else could see. She made sure I was looking too. Sad to say that I passed on it because I was true to my GF that later cheated on me. The one that really stands out was a customer at my workplace loudly telling me, "Oh my God, you have such pretty eyes." I'm sure he was right, but I'm a straight dude. I'm also totally oblivious to flirting. My, now, wife had to ask me out 3 times before I finally figured it out. She would do it publicly, as we would often see each other with mutual friends. No one clued me in. A few months after graduating high school, a very pretty girl that I had recently become friends with told me to take the day off work to hang out with her at her place alone. I went to work that day. When I was about 21 I was out in the city and I bumped into a woman who was out on her hen night. She had never met me before and she walked straight up to me and told me that she wants one last good shag before she gets married. I walked away in total disgust. That poor guy was in for a rough and short-lived marriage. I was 18 on vacation at an amusement park. This girl came up to me, gave me a hug and said something really flattering that I can't remember. She was very cute and I was so caught off guard cause that stuff never happens to me. I had a girlfriend at the time so I didn't ask for her number. Random girl at a bar started talking to me and pretty quickly told me, 33M, how sexy I was, how I smelled good, nice hair, etc. Then her sister came over and jumped right in with the same stuff, was a little surreal. Nowadays I'd love for that to happen again. Unfortunately this happened 1 week after a breakup and I was not ready to even consider pursuing further. Timing is everything.